If you've ever wondered what type of videos creep me out the most, here they are. The possibility of any of these videos coming true is enough to personally keep me awake at night. Number 11. A team of ghost investigators patrol through a dark farmhouse at 3 a.m. and set up their equipment. Suddenly, their thoughts are interrupted by an overwhelmingly powerful force.
Over here. To jump up there.
What's that?
What was that?
An adjacent door flies open soon as they shine their flashlight up into the attic. The team feels like they are being watched from something outside. They're talking about what to do next when they witness another display of brute force.
We get to experience an EVP session in a creepy abandoned house.
Something smashes the window out and they see what appears to be a white apparition slowly walking away. The object has no distinct shape and somehow seems to be both near and far at the same time.
What the is that? Holy shit, somebody out there!
All of them scramble to the car and take one last look as they leave. It's really hard to see, but zoom in on the window and you'll see a head move away on the left side. Let me know if you see what I mean or not. Before we go any further, it's a proven fact that generosity makes you a happier person. So if you're generous enough to hit the subscribe button and the bell beside it, then thank you. Number 10. Salvador Miglino goes to pick up his child for a custody visit, but finds his mother-in-law waiting for him instead. After a brief argument, she brandishes a piece and fires twice at close range.
Oh no! I can't believe you did that! I can't believe you did that! What, are you crazy?
It's pretty obvious that Salvador is the one who is innocent, but his mother-in-law lies to the 911 operator and says that she was acting in self-defense. She is completely unaware that the whole incident was recorded.
Or you pulled the gun on him?
No, he pulled it on me and he got it. He drove away.
I think she sounds very convincing and could have possibly framed Salvador if not for the video he took. Salvador survives, but the mother-in-law could face up to 30 years for doing this. Tell me what you think her sentence should be based on the video evidence. Number 9. This next video, made to raise awareness, is supposed to replicate voices in your head. Among the many visual and audio delusions is one in particular that really gets to me, a girl with no eyes who appears at random. The girl with no eyes is apparently very common and reported by many. The following scene is an example of how she usually comes to them, or rather for them.
She is here.
Nowhere is safe from the girl with no eyes, because once she is in your mind, there's nowhere to hide. This is what it's supposed to be like when she finds you. No one knows why so many people have reported seeing the exact same figure. Maybe it's a subconscious manifestation of a common fear we all have. Or maybe it's some type of possession that's driving people to madness. If this video is just a simulation, then I can only imagine how terrifying the real thing must be face to face. Number 8. Caught on a Canary home security camera. This cam caught 2 men entering into a home at night through a window in the kitchen. The shadows of the intruders can be seen moving room to room before their pacing finally wakes the homeowner. He triggers the alarm and it sends the men fleeing. It appears these men were never caught, and this video just goes to show how easily someone can enter your house at night. Next time you hear a weird noise, there's a chance it could be someone entering through a window. Number 7. What you are hearing is the heavy breathing of a man who took the lives of 14 people. This message was left on the answering machine of one of his targets during the 70s. It's clear that he's trying to instill as much fear as possible before his next strike. He wants the person and the community at large to know what's going to happen to all of them, and he savors their fear. The message is so over the top that I think most people would have had a hard time believing it was real. But if you ever receive a message like this one, remember that there are people out there who are not fooling around and will hold themselves to their word. Number 6. Jay Duncan is at home with his wife and daughter. When he looks out his door and sees a total stranger in rough shape, the man is having a fast-paced conversation with no one but himself, and he can't hold still for a single second.
He's just out there, man. He just won't go away.
When he finally notices Jay a full minute later, his first move is to immediately try the door. I can only imagine what this intruder would have done next had he gotten inside. Instead, he throws his hands up in exasperation, as if they have no right to keep their front door locked. He barks a series of threats and demands to be let in. I think he basically says he's through playing games with them, whatever that means. They snicker at him through the door until he gives up and gets into a relatively upscale truck to leave. Obviously, if he has a truck, then he also has a warm place to stay, which makes me wonder why he wanted to get into Jay Duncan's home to begin with. I think that maybe this person might have been out of their mind and thought they were outside of their own home. If so, I really hope they don't come back when Jay Duncan is asleep at night and try the same again. Number 5. Okay, here's a weird one. The closet door in this bedroom keeps opening by itself, but before I even get into that, look what happens with the lamp. Somehow the bulb becomes extremely bright and goes back to normal despite lacking a dimmer switch. After that, the closet door swings open seemingly all by itself. Tell me if you see any signs of human interference here, because I see none whatsoever.
There it goes. And as you can see, there's nothing there.
I thought they were using a hook or something on the bottom right to pull the door open, but when I watched again I saw it was just a power strip running to the lamp. If anything, the door actually moves the strip out of the way, not the other way around. The closet looks too full to hold another item, but who knows what else was in there staring at them from the other side. Number 4. This video will definitely make you want to double check all of your wiring in your home. Eric McGregor takes one look at this discolored brown outlet and identifies a major problem.
It's catching on fire.
Amber sparks shoot out of the middle of a frayed wire that is still hot and fully charged. It looks like the wall is going to catch on fire at any moment, especially here 23 seconds into the video. Eric calmly unscrews the outlet and plucks it free from the wall, which in turn trips the breaker and turns off all the power. I don't know if this is the safest solution, so you definitely shouldn't consider this video to be a tutorial of any kind, but his strategy does seem to work in this specific instance. Sometimes these kind of faulty wires can go undetected for months or even years. All it takes in the meantime is one random spark, especially late at night, to change everything forever. Number 3. If the backstory to this video is real, then none of the friends you are looking at here are still alive. Their families gave police permission to release this video in hopes of solving what happened to them. At some point during their final car ride together, they go through a lonesome old tunnel in the middle of a private country road. They don't think much of it until they come across the same tunnel again, and then a third time. They are driving in a straight line and not a circle. Yet this creepy location keeps greeting them as if they never left. It only gets worse when the engine stops working. If you think this video is fake, then please take a moment and tell me how they were able to make it look like their car breaks down.
Just over here, I don't want to see.
Anyway, not too long after their car stops working, a song skips on the radio and this figure heads straight their way. And when the car works, they go to reverse. You can see the figure immediately appears behind them in return. I think this last part looks like it could be an amateur horror movie, to be honest, but tell me if this part is editing or not, and then we'll know the real truth. Number 2. YouTube won't even let me utter the name of this next video, but you probably are already familiar. More and more videos of innocent shows on YouTube are being infiltrated by this horrifying character who is bent on separating people from their innocence. One moment you're watching a normal video, the next moment this floating head fills the screen. And when that happens, she threatens you into submitting to a quote-unquote challenge. Otherwise, there will be dire consequences.
If you don't do it, we'll come get you while you sleep.
And she will stay patiently to make sure you do each and every last step correctly under her incessant gaze. Even if this is just the work of some very twisted sickos, the thought of people obeying will definitely keep me awake at night. We never know where she will pop up or what she will ask them to do next. Before we get to number 1, my name is Chills and I hope you're enjoying my narration. Are you curious about what I look like in real life? Then go to my Instagram at DylanIsChillinYT to find out. Do you like my narrations? If you answered yes, then tap the follow button and thank you for your support. To show my appreciation, a different follower gets shouted out every day on the Chills Instagram. Also, don't forget I upload a new video here on YouTube every Thursday and Saturday. Number 1. In 2014, this man took the lives of 12 people in a movie theater. This psychiatrist interview after his arrest was recently released to the public. The purpose of this interview was to see if he was fit for trial, and the hour-and-a-half glimpse inside of his mind is horrifying. The scariest and most noticeable thing about him is his complete lack of emotion. He seems lost in a state of permanent disinterest, so much so that the psychiatrist can't seem to figure out what was going through his mind when it all went down.
No, I wasn't very nervous. I was prepared.
Exhilaration or
No, none of that.
caution or
No.
Even though he shows no outward remorse, James does reveal that he called an emergency hotline minutes before going into the theater. For whatever reason, nobody answered the call.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything for 9 seconds and then it hung up.
They might have not been able to convince him to change his mind, but they could have at least gotten his location and sent the police out to stop him. It's sickening to think that this could have been prevented with a simple phone call. Some people say these videos are real and others don't. All I know is that when I read the comments, even the skeptics couldn't explain what happened. That means it's now up to us to decide.